Welcome or welcome back to the My Little Film and TV channel. We've got a film review today with Mr. Liam Neeson in. Yes, I've not seen him for at least a couple of months, that's for sure. We're going to look at Memory today, an action thriller directed by Martin Campbell. An hour and 54 minutes, and all the comments and scores I've got for you today as at the 12th of May 2022. Internet Movie Database, Joe Public, people like you and me, they sort of like it, but not quite up to the old watchable score of 6. Yeah, just 5.6 out of 10. That's based on 1,129 reviews, so not massive reviews. So just under that little figure of 6 out of 10 I like to see on films, but close enough to warrant a look anyway. And of that 1129, I've ignored the 10 out of 10s and 1 out of 10s. 555 people scored between 6 and 9. And 366 scored between 2 and 5. So 60%, that's better, isn't it? 60% positivity. So that's 6 out of 10 a positive on it. And the Rotten Tomatoes audience, well, they do book the trend there, 4.1 out of 5. So 8.2 out of 10 from the Rotten Tomatoes audience. Quite a fair figure of those as well. It's based on the novel De Zaak Alzheimer by Jeff Gerrits and is a remake of the novel's previous adaptation, the Belgian film The Alzheimer's Case. So if you watch that, you probably know what it's about. Alex is an expert assassin, he is indeed. Plans to retire but is assigned one last task, which he ultimately refuses to do after he finds out the target is a young girl. Alex tries to get the contract called off but finds out the girl has been killed by someone else. This pits him against Vincent, the FBI agent who rehabilitated the girl after her father's death, as well as the people who hired him. Alex sets out to eliminate the child traffickers, but his severe memory loss, yes, interesting little twist, turns out to be detrimental to his health and mission. It's bound to be, isn't it? I can't remember what he's doing. As I said, this stars Liam Neeson, of course, and he's ably assisted some other big names, Guy Pearce, Monica Bellucci, Harold Torres, Taj Atwell and Ray Fearon also star. This was released in the US on April the 29th. I'm not too sure in the UK at the moment. Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, very poor. This is the critics now. The public are okay on it. Certainly Rotten Tomatoes public, but the Rotten Tomatoes critics didn't like it. Just 30%, 30% positivity with this. An average rating of just 4.7 out of 10. That's well down. 26 fresh and 60 rotten. And the consensus, a pale facsimile of better action thrillers by star Liam Neeson or director Martin Campbell. I think a couple of James Bond films to his credit, plus lots of other things, of course. Memory proves to be one of their most forgettable efforts yet. So not very liked by Rotten Tomatoes critics. What about Metacritic, the other critics site we look at? Well, they use an average, don't they, again? And that's only getting 41 out of 100. So that's even less than Rotten Tomatoes. That's based on 28. It did score anywhere between 0 out of 100, which is a bit cruel, and 75 out of 100, which is probably a bit over the top. But Observer's Oliver Jones here in the UK, The Observer, 20, just scored it 20. He said, it's an absurd premise. I don't think it's that absurd. One made even more so by its execution. Well, okay, I agree with that bit, but I mean, can't a hitman suffer from dementia? Which at the hands of veteran Hollywood thriller director Martin Campbell, a one-time director of Bond films who's been in movie jail since 2011's Green Lantern, is often lacklustre and on occasion shockingly inept. I don't think Oliver liked it. San Francisco's Chronicle Mick LaSalle, was about 50-50 on this. He gave it 50 out of 100 and said, Neeson also does a good job tracing his character's cognitive deterioration. Yeah, not too bad over the course of the movie. As such, Memory is like a hybrid, mixing serious sections with Neeson's usual action stuff. Call it a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or not enough of this and not enough of that. That's what we do with the Birdie song, that, isn't it? That's what he's doing. And just a positive, here we go, 75 out of 100 from Richard Rooper from Chicago Sun-Times. Neeson never phones in his performance, but he's particularly invested this time around, playing a guy who can be a pure killing machine one moment and as lost as a child the next. Pearce and Bellucci headline the terrific supporting cast, and the 78-year-old Campbell proves he can still direct the hell out of a slick and engrossing thriller. There you go. They're watching the same film, some of these guys. Probably not. Right, my thoughts. Yeah, a mixed bag, as you saw there, of scores on this Neeson effort and views from the critics, views from the public. Very understandable. It is a bit oddly paced, and the memory element does possibly adds a little bit more confusion than helps it flow, in all fairness. But it is a good slant. I do like the idea of a hitman theme who's losing his memory. And although it doesn't always work, there was just enough for it to say, yeah, it was all right, it was okay, but nothing brilliant. Neeson fans may be disappointed, but I think most will be okay on this. I mean, if you're a fan, aren't you? You put up with various things. It does have a streaming film feel to it, which is nothing wrong with that, in all fairness, unless you paid your hard-earned to go to the cinema and watch it, as I think most of the people reviewing this did that weren't very happy. A bit disjointed and a shame better couldn't have been done with this theme. I just thought it was a good idea. I thought a hitman beginning to suffer from dementia. Absolutely nothing wrong with that for me. I mean, obviously he wants to retire from not before time, but yeah, I thought, as I said, with that basis, that theme, I thought it could have been better. Could have been better. And as far as Neeson playing the guy who's deteriorating, yeah, it does okay. Just a bit over the top. Didn't quite work for me with that. I'm sorry, Liam. It just didn't quite have the effect. It was definitely 30 minutes too long at just under 2 hours. It was, you could have knocked 30 minutes off this. I think, all right, some of the plot probably needed tightening up a little bit or rewriting, but it would have been a lot better. A good cast for me, underutilised in this. It never really flowed along or sort of grabbed me, made me want to sort of keep watching or doing other things while this was on. I was swiping my phone and stuff like that, but. Yeah, a good cast, underutilised. You get a lot of people together like this, the cast-wise, and it's a shame that perhaps the script, for me, wasn't a little bit better, because as I said, the synopsis, if someone told me the theme of the thing, which I didn't really check on it before I watched it, I'd be very interested, because it just seems a bit quirky, a bit different to me. So I am going to give it a mark. I'm not going to not mark it. I'm just going to give it my base, my lowest mark I can give something, which is 5 out of 10. I don't go any lower than that. And I just think it's a great shame, because I think with this film, they missed a bit of a trick. So they had everything right to do it. Unfortunately, the script wasn't quite right to go with the cast and the way it was set up. But as I say, as a streaming film, it was probably okay, but I can't really give it more than 5 out of 10. But please, if you get to watch this, let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Until we meet again, that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.